What's good, Washington fans? Just got this new hat, man. My stuff came in the mail. NFC East Champs 2020. You already know what it is. So we are expected to hire Marty Hurney as our general manager. Former Panthers general manager, fired twice. Hired Ron Rivera back in the day. Was a sports writer in DC. So you already know what I'm going to say. We are the Washington Panthers. It is what it is. Scott Turner, Thomas Davis, Pete Horner, the trainer. His daughter works for the team, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. I'm probably forgetting some other Panthers people or players that have been signed here, or Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke. I like Heineke. I like Heineke a lot. I like Heineken a lot. He's been really good. Only 2 games, only 1.5 games, but he's played well. Kyle Allen hasn't been bad either. And some of the Panthers guys that he's brought on have not been bad at all. I mean, Pete Horner's been a good tight end coach. The trainer was good. The training staff from the Panthers has been good. Like I said, Kyle Allen was decent. Tyler Heineken was decent. Thomas Davis is just old. Richard Rodgers, I forgot what his staff role is. Something in the front office too. But of course, we'll talk about Kyle Smith. There's so much to talk about here. I'm really hoping Kyle Smith is not another guy that we let leave, like a Sean McVay, a Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan. So much young talent, innovative talent that we have in the building in the past. From coaches staff, Kevin O'Connell, we can add him to the list as well. I think Kevin O'Connell's going to be a head coach one day, probably the next 5 years. So much young talent, innovative talent in the front office and in the coaching staff that we let leave that has been successful after they leave and they're not promoted to larger roles in the building. So I just hope this is not another case. I mean, Kyle Smith, maybe he stays at the role that he is and they work together, but eventually Kyle Smith, I think he's going to be gone within the next 2 to 3 years. I think he's capable of being a general manager. But, let's see how this goes. I mean, this is a coach-centric team. Once again, this shows you that Ron Rivera is running the show. He's running the ship. This is a coach-centric environment. He's hiring the guys that he's familiar with. I mean, you look at the Bills with Sean McDermott. He's doing the same thing, and they're in the AFC Championship. So it's not all bad that we're the Washington Panthers. But sometimes it does get a little annoying when there's somebody staring in your face like Kyle Smith that you could promote. That's pretty good. Or somebody like a Kevin O'Connell that you could promote to offensive coordinator. That's really good. So some of that, I get that. It can be very annoying when you have talent already in the building, but you go out your way to get a Panthers guy. Let's look at Marty Hurney's track record: 107 and 133, 107 wins and 133 losses over his 15-year tenure. He was fired twice with the Panthers. He's a really good first-round drafter. After that, you don't really remember the names of the guys that he's drafted before. He did draft Josh Norman, a 5th-round pick. He didn't work out here, but he was really good with the Panthers. Greg Hardy was one of his later-round picks, but he's a head case. He did not draft Christian McCaffrey. A lot of people saying that he was a part of that draft. He was not. David Gettleman did draft Christian McCaffrey, and then he got fired, and then they brought in Marty Hurney. Marty Hurney was 65 years old. He doesn't believe in analytics. Football is different today. It's a different game, and sometimes older guys, it just sweeps them under their feet, and it's a new footballs with analytics and things like that. But some guys, they get it done old school, so it could work out. He's 65 years old. One of the reasons why that David Tepper for the Panthers fired Marty Hurney was because he didn't believe in analytics. He was an old school kind of guy. So 107, 133 during his tenure, has not had a winning season with the Panthers since 2008. Was rehired in 2018, 2019, 2020. So those last 3 years, he was 7-9, 5-11, and then 5-11. The years before 3 years before he got fired, he was 8-8, 2-14, 6-10. His best years was 11-5 back in 2003, 11-5 again back in 2005. They went to the Super Bowl. I think that was with Jake Delhomme, where they lost to the Patriots, and then they went 12-4 in 2008, and they lost in the divisional round. I think Jake Delhomme was the quarterback back then too. But yeah, I mean, he's had some okay years, and then he's had a stretch of just some really, really, really bad years. He did draft Brian Burns. He did draft Jeremy Chin. Those are some 2 promising players. He did draft DJ Moore. He drafted Curtis Samuel as well. He did draft Julius Peppers. He did draft Thomas Davis. He did draft D'Angelo Williams. He did draft, what's the other little running back? Jonathan Stewart. So his first-round picks have been home runs. He did draft Will Greer. He looks pretty bad. Gray Little looks like a bust. Jimmy Clausen, he drafted him, who's basically a terrible quarterback. So he's his first-round picks are really good. And then after that, it's really darn bad. He is a local guy. He's from Wheaton, Maryland. I went to Good Counsel High School in Montgomery County, where Stephon Diggs went. So went to Catholic University. He did write for the Washington football team in 1988 and 1989. Shot it on the warpath. He said it's a Marty party. It's a party. It's a party. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, it's a tough one, man. It really is. This is he drafted John Beason. That was a good pick too. So I'm just reading through some of his picks here. But yeah, he drafted Cam Newton, of course, which was the obvious pick. Luke Kuechly drafted him too. So first round picks are really, really, really good. Really, really good. I'll give him that. First round picks are pretty darn good for the most part. I mean, he hits on his first round picks. Like I said, Cam Newton was a no-brainer. But how does he really fit? I mean, Ron Rivera, he just likes being comfortable. He likes having his own guys. And that's just what he wants. The Panthers lead the NFL in salary cap dead money this year, $34.5 million. Actually, that was last year in 2020. So it's kind of a blah move in my opinion. But we'll see how much control does he get. Of course, he's not going to get the control that Bruce Allen has. Once again, Ron Rivera is going to have the final say in the draft picks. But, I mean, like I said, the positives are the first-round picks and that he's familiar with Ron Rivera. You know, Ron Rivera, Kyle Smith has had some really good drafts. You know, Montez Sweat, Cole Holcomb, Tim Settle in the later rounds, Matt Ioannidis in the later rounds. Of course, our obvious first-round picks were Daron Payne, John Allen, Montez Sweat, of course, Chase Young in the first round. So, Kyle Smith, he's done a good job. I mean, Jimmy Moreland and Cameron Curl, once again, some other picks I'm probably missed. Terry McLaurin, how could I forget him? Terry McLaurin's been a beast. So we made some really good picks under Kyle Smith, and he just has a good football mind. I'm not saying that Marty Hurney doesn't. You know, Ryan Cowden was an option. Martin Mayhew was an option. We just went with Marty Hurney. I think Marty Hurney was the guy originally before the interviews even started. I think once he got fired in November or late December, whenever he got fired from the Panthers, I think Ron Rivera just made up his mind already. That's just kind of how he's been with hiring guys for the most part. But if I had to give this a grade, Panthers fans, man, if you look on Twitter, Panthers fans, they're warning us. They're saying, they're laughing at us right now. They really are, and I hope they're wrong. But once again, I don't want to get too hyped up over the move. Like I said, Ron is the ending. He has the final decision. It's not like Bruce Allen. Ultimately, Dan Snyder had the ultimate decision with Bruce Allen, but Bruce Allen did control a lot of things. I don't think it's going to be that way with Marty. I think Marty, of course, is going to defer to Ron Rivera, and then Kyle Smith will still have some input, of course, with scouting and personnel and things like that. So once again, all I can do is sit back and trust Ron Rivera. If I had to give this a grade, I guess I give it like a C or C+. You guys let me know what you guys think about the hiring. Once again, just had to fall back and trust Ron Rivera. So we'll see. We are the Washington Panthers once again. We are, and that I just read off his track record. It's not too good, but like I said, we trust in Ron. Ron's doing a good job so far. He's doing a good job so far. I'll give him that. NFC East champs. We haven't done that since 2015. So we'll see what happens. We got to see what happens with this draft. We have a first-round pick. We have a second-round pick. We have 2 third-round picks. I do plan on doing a mock draft pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. And let me know what you guys think about this pick. This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Hail to the football team. Peace.